7 minutes to 7 on this Friday morning here on Morning News Today. Now, South Africans will this weekend have their last chance to register to vote in the May general elections. Over 20,000 voting stations will be open from 8 o'clock in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. That's on Saturday and Sunday. Well, to talk to us more about the preparations and what you need to do, we're joined on the line by Deputy CEO of the Independent Electoral Commission, that's the IEC, and Masego Sheburi. Masego, good morning, and thanks for your time this morning ahead of what's going to be a very busy weekend for you. And are you ready for the voter registration weekend?
The IEC is ready. All the municipal offices are ready. All our voting stations, 23,000 of them, are ready to receive South Africans tomorrow and on Sunday. And for that reason, we asked if people could prioritize their registration because some stormy weather is predicted in the eastern parts of the country. So we asked if people could attend to their registration in the morning so that if the weather turns, they would have finished transacting with us.
All right. And just to help speed the process along then, Masego, just remind us, and I know we've done this for many, many years now, but just remind us how we'd find out where we need to be, especially people who might have moved house since the last election, changed location. How do we find out all the details of where we need to be, what we need to take with us?
Every voter needs to be registered within a ward in a municipality in which they ordinarily reside. To establish which is your correct ward for registration, you can visit our app or go onto our website, elections.org.za, punch in your address on the address finder application, and you'll be given the details, including the map of your correct voting station. Once you have that, you could visit our voting station. All you need to bring is proof of identity. It could either be a green barcode or a smart ID card. If people have mislaid their identity documents, Home Affairs will maintain their offices open over the 2 days, and they'll be willing to issue a temporary identification certificate, which is a competent form of identification for purposes of registration. It is not a requirement for people to bring a proof of an address. All you need to give us is the address at which you ordinarily reside. We do not need proof of an address.
All right, and then for the past couple of years, you've been trying to sort out the issue of people who have no known address, and there were concerns of voter fraud, Masego, and all of that. How far? What's been the progress on that in getting that complication sorted out?
When the matter of the address first arose, it was in 2016. At that point, the IEC had only 34% of addresses for people who were registered. At that point, there were 26 million people registered. As we speak today, we've made a quantum improvement on the addresses on the voters' roll because we have 82% of people on the voters' roll with an address. For people who are already registered who may want to update their address details because they have moved or they want to double check, those category of voters do not need to go to a voting station. There's an added convenience for them. They can go onto their app or onto our website and remotely update their address details. So those category of voters don't need to go to a voting station. For voting stations tomorrow and Saturday, we want to prioritize first-time voters, persons who are registering as voters for the very first time. If you need to change your address, there's an added advantage. You can do that from the comfort of your office or your home over our website, elections.org.za. For further details, we maintain a call-in center, and the number is 0800 11 8000. They should be able to assist you finding your voting stations and also assist you with all the documentation that you require for purposes of registration.
All right, thanks for that. It's quite detailed. Masego, if I can just ask you very quickly, there's information about the South African Citizen Survey which has been carried out on some of the front pages here. One of them, the citizens saying South Africa has 11.2 million unregistered voters, and a staggering 40% of them, that's the youth between the ages of 18 and 34, will not register to vote in the elections. And I just want to know, do those figures tally with what you have? Do we have 11.2 million unregistered voters, and is that coming from the youth sector?
The stats almost tally with what the state estimate of our population is, the population that is unregistered, and certainly the majority of those persons are young persons, and therefore the decision that we took to run a purposefully youthful campaign to animate those categories of citizens to want to remain engaged with affairs of their country.
Okay, and then
I indeed resonate with what we have, yes.
And you still have that student registration period coming up in February, so hopefully by then.
That's correct.
Okay, and very quickly for us, Masego, what about people who might be travelling during the election? What arrangements are being made for them to be able to vote?
People who are travelling over the elections, once the day of the election is proclaimed, the IEC will issue a timetable. As the name suggests, it will have the activities and the cut-off date for activities. Those persons, in brief, can apply for a special vote and apply before they leave, or they could go at any station and ask to vote as though they were registered at that station within the country. If they are in the province in which they are registered, they will receive the 2 ballots. But if they are outside of the province that they are registered in, they'll only receive the national ballot. Similarly, there's a dispensation for South Africans who are resident abroad. They can cause an application to be made to the CEO to apply to vote overseas, to indicate the mission abroad at which they want to vote, and if approved, they will vote ahead of time in the embassies overseas.
All right, thanks very much for your time. Deputy CEO of the IEC, Masego Sheburi, on the line there. That number, that's 0800 11 8000, if I have that correct, 0800 11 8000. That's the number you can call for some help if you're unsure where you need to be voting and where you need to check if you are registered.